Okay, if I run up here quickly, I can show you what's going on. So we've just had the plasterers round today and they've started boarding out the master bedroom, which I genuinely can't believe. This is just one of the 5 bedrooms. I'm in a little bit disbelief of the size of this room. I know I drew the plans. I know this is what we were planning to do. But sometimes the vision that you have in your head turns out a little bit different in real life. But this is beating my expectations by a mile. Like, these are big doorways and we've got that amount of space above them in a loft. It's just insane. It's actually going to be a lot easier to run around the house now and explain a few things because it's still daylight, which usually by the time I remember, oh, I've got a YouTube channel, I need to film all this stuff. It's dark, tiles all the way up here. Now this is going to be a great laugh because obviously it's all on an angle. So when I'm cutting the tiles, some of them I'm going to be wasting a ton of tile because obviously you've got to think of it. Tile's obviously going to be running like that. I'm going to have to cut it there. And then that top half of the tile is a lot of waste. But hopefully I can reuse that further then down the line of tiles. I might not have shown you recently the skylight there. Obviously I've got to still finish insulating all of that. But as I mentioned, we're just getting the master bedroom and my bedroom down there plasterboarded and plastered first. Then I can get on with the tiling of the bathroom, and then we're not going to be carpeting because I'm just going to get the carpeting done in the entire house done at the same time, because knowing me, and when you're living in a building site, I'm just going to bring all the dirt into the room. I think I'll add a little bit more to this video, so when it's progressed a little bit more, so more plasterboard in there, plasterboard down in that bedroom, and then the next video after this will probably be it being plastered. So as you can see, everything has now been plastered, and then I've gone around and done a quick mist coat, which if you don't know, that's what you do onto plaster before you start painting. You've got to do a mist coat. And then as you can see, I've gone around where there were the occasional little scratch or hole in the wall. I've gone around with filler, filled it in, and then just go buy one of these super cheap sanders. I can't remember how much it was exactly, like maybe 80 quid or something. And basically, obviously, that spins the sander and it just saves your arms basically, because if you have to sand down every wall, every ceiling, yeah, it's not very fun. And I've done that in the past and I'll never do it again. So yeah, just buy one of those sanders. Like I said, they don't cost very much money and it makes the whole job a lot easier. You might be wondering why this room hasn't had a mist coat and it hasn't been filled in when there are the occasional little marks or whatever. That is because all of this is getting tiled. So obviously you don't need to sort out what's going to be behind the tiles. As you can see, I've been deciding what colour I want to paint the lofts in. So I went and bought a ton of these little paint samples and then did loads of little patches on the wall. The one that I chose to go with was 8 because I thought it was the lightest and the brightest. You don't ever really paint anything white in a house, ever. At least I don't know anyone who does, because it can make it look really clinical. The only thing you paint white is the ceilings. So yeah, that's a big patch of 8, so you can really see what the colour's looking like. It doesn't come across on camera like it comes across in real life. Maybe there it shows it a little bit better. It's just a little bit of a creamier white. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention about the doors and how I managed to save an absolute fortune on them. And there's this little hack you can do with doors, which I don't know if everyone does. I know everyone I know does it, because basically when it comes to doors, there's obviously 1,000,001 different options and different styles. This is just the style that I like and I've gone with. But that's personal, and that's not really a good way of categorizing if something's like a luxury door or not. The only other factor that comes into doors and showing if they're expensive or cheap is the weight of them, which is something that, unless you're buying them and doing this sort of thing, you probably will never think about it. But basically, if your door is really light, it means they're the cheapest door you can buy. If they're heavy, they're the more expensive versions. And you can actually just buy cheap doors or heavy doors. And there is a third option, which is fire doors, which obviously you need fire doors for particular situations, for rules and regulations. and that'll all go into your building regs. Now, this is the little hack, which I always do, is I just buy fire doors for the lot of them. Now, why is that? Well, you've got the cheapest doors, which are the really light ones. Then you've got the more expensive luxury versions of them, which basically are just heavier. And then you've got fire doors, which weigh the same as the luxury heavy doors. Well, the price doesn't go up in order of size from light, cheap doors, luxury doors, fire doors. It doesn't go up like that. It goes light, cheap doors, fire doors, the luxury heavy ones. Well, if you just take out that middle one and you go straight to buying fire doors for a lot of them, well, then it saves you an absolute fortune, because these were 75 quid each. Now, if you're wondering where I got them from, these are just from Travis Perkins, because like I said in the previous video about the installation, find building supplier, bounce it off a different branch, and that's how you can get the best price. And with haggling, I need to do a video on haggling, because I mean, that comes into pretty much day-to-day life of doing this sort of thing. There's no quicker way to save money than getting money off things. If you want to see in this ensuite, again, haven't miscoated and sanded and fillered the walls, because this is all going to get tiled. So this is all going to be underfloor heated, which I'm going to do. All the tiling I'm going to be doing. Also, I kind of changed my mind. I was originally just going to tile that wall and all of this wall here, and then the shower there. But I've decided that I'm just going to tile everything, except for the ceiling, obviously. And I think that's going to look really, really nice. Also, for the skirting board, in lofts, okay, this is just my opinion, and I'm sorry if I offend anyone who's done this, but if you do, you're not well, in my opinion. Some people in lofts put the skirting board so it's following the angle of the loft. So basically, it would be running down like that. If you do that, you need help. Always do it 90 degrees to the floor, because it would just look weird. Seriously, I've seen it and I don't get why people do it. Again, that's just my opinion, but yeah. I've also gone for a shallower width skirting board than the rest of the house. I think if you put a shallow skirting board, it makes the wall seem bigger, if that makes sense. And it just creates a better sense of space. Next up is all the tiling, which there's quite a lot of it, because obviously got that ensuite, then we got this ensuite, and then obviously got a family bathroom down there, another ensuite down there, and then I've got to tile the entire 50 square metre kitchen, which is going to be fun. Also got the crusher coming tomorrow, so I can turn all the bricks and concrete into hardcore to do the extension, which I'll actually go show you that now. So if I run out here, oh, I don't think I've shown you down in the basement for a while, and there's actually been quite a lot of progress down here. So I've obviously tanked it, which is this material here, which then allows you to put battens, and then you screw through into these waterproof plugs essentially. And as you can see it all working there, you can see how the moisture that would just normally be coming through into the room is getting protected by this work surface along here. And then over here, I'm going to put washing machines and all that stuff. As you can see, we need a massive water tank. The reason why, well, we've got 3 ensuites, 1 family bathroom and a downstairs toilet. That's 2 baths, a lot of showers, sinks, toilets. Then you got the kitchen. Yeah, there's a lot. So as you can see, this is where I've decided to put it all, and it is quite lucky, to be honest, that we have got this basement space to put it all in. So I need to finish tanking all of that out. Some people put all the plasterboard up and then they paint around all the pipes. In my opinion, just think ahead and plasterboard it yourself. Miscoat, sand, paint, and then you don't have to then fiddle around trying to paint between the pipes. So yeah, just get that done before you get all of this stuff sorted. But if I run out here, so you can see what I've been up to out here. Basically, this is the main area for the waste to go. So everything is running from that point. So you've got the waste pipe running under the entire floor where it picks up from there. And then you've got out here, you've got that waste, which is all going to get boxed off and everything. Don't worry about it. This, if you're wondering what this amazing bodge job is, that's for my shower and for my sink. And then this is for my kitchen sink at the moment as well. It's quite hard living in a renovation project, I'm not going to lie, especially one on this scale. It's a full house refurb / developing, because as you can see, you got all this going on. Yeah, it's not particularly the nicest place to be living right now. But if you're wondering kind of what's going on, been quite a lot of work going on here, which you might not see. So all of this is perfectly level. So a lot of scraping, shoveling, wheelbarrowing. The reason it needs to be level is so I can get on with the hardcore, which, as I've said, is all of that brick concrete there. Can then go into a crusher, which costs about 150 quid a day, which has little caterpillar tracks. And we're going to drive it all the way through the house to there. I can crush all that to make the hardcore. And basically that is then going to form the base layer for the floor in here, which is going to need a lot of concrete, a lot. If you're wondering on the sizes of this is basically a 50 square meter kitchen, which is ridiculous. That is where I've decided I'm going to put the island, which I need to find somewhere to cut the granite or marble, whatever I decide to go with, because I want to have a really decent size island. And then over here is where the dining room table is going to go. Over there, all of this is my waste and water for the little toilet that is going to be around here. And then, unless you've watched a previous update video, you might be going, why have you got a toilet in the kitchen? Well, it's not really in the kitchen, because essentially I'm going to be having a wall around here. I'm moving the entrance to the staircase from there, knocking through this wall and putting the staircase down there, which was actually the original way the staircase did go, because when I was taking out the staircase, there was one staircase and then a second staircase below it. And all this is basically really, really thin MDF. This is kind of like a hallway area, like a little bit of a corridor to then get into the downstairs toilet there. And then running about there is the doorway into the kitchen, which is then going to have the island there, then work surface running from the steel there all the way along to here. I'm going to have a big American fridge style thing going on there. I've decided to put the sink in the island, which, yeah, it's about 50-50 split on what people like, if they prefer it in the island or off of the island. I think it's going to look quite nice in the island with one of those proper posh boiling water taps. And then the cooking stuff goes over there. And obviously, because the toilet is going to be there, there's actually going to, I haven't shown you, I took out the chimney, which was disgusting because that chimney hadn't been used for probably 50 years. So it's just full of soot and everything. Oh yeah, I've also redone the floor in there. Don't think I said that earlier. Yeah, redid the floor. The vision is becoming a reality. To think that one day I'll be, I don't know, making a coffee here, and then I can turn around and then you see the island there. All of that going on. Mad. Absolutely mad. Oh yeah, I'm doing underfloor heating in here, which I really recommend you do all the underfloor heating yourself, because it costs a lot of money to get people in to do it, and it's really quite simple to do yourself. That's the waste, obviously, and this is hot and cold water coming up there. Is there anything else? Oh, yeah. You might be wondering why there's string. Well, I had to put string through it, so when I run the cable to the island, you need a string from there to there to be able to pull the cable all the way through the pipe. So what I always do is on the end of the piece of string, when this is all out and obviously not in the ground, tape a stone to the end of the piece of string and then drop it through the tube and make sure it's properly tied and taped at the other end, because yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare if something happened to the string and then you've got nothing to pull the cable through to the island.